What's up, guys? So it's been a while. I thought I'd update you on what I've been up to. I started working on the twin turbo. This thing only has 100,000 miles on it, but the engine was locked up. The guy said he parked it in the winter and it ran, but then in the springtime it had locked up. So I kind of figured it wasn't really locked up. I figured it was carbon. And I put mystery oil down in the cylinders and let it sit for a day. Came back the next day, and sure enough, it broke free. So now it spins great. So I got a pretty good deal on this car. Got a really good deal on this car, and I'm gonna keep. This is probably gonna be the one I end up keeping. I've got my '91 NA, which I've pretty much completely mechanically rebuilt, and it's about as reliable as a Z can get. I'd drive it anywhere and not think twice about it, but I'm going to try and make this one just as reliable. So I started working on this one, and I ordered a bunch of parts. Right now I'm waiting on a plenum gasket for the slick top. And as soon as I get a plenum gasket for the slick top, I'm gonna put it all back together. I haven't got to test it yet to make sure that the fuel injection was the fuel injector O-ring was the only thing leaking out of there. I'm pretty sure it was. So I feel like the Z will be running here. It's Friday. I should get my parts on Monday, and so then hopefully I'll have the slick top going on Monday, and then I can get that thing back on the ground, get it running, and hopefully get it sold. So I went ahead and started on my twin turbo. I went ahead and pulled the engine, and for what I've got planned for it is I'm basically doing the heads, and I'm going to rebuild the steering rack. I'm going to do the high cast deletes in the front and the rear. I've got that all ordered. It'll be here Monday. And all new hoses it came with a lot of silicone hoses, but I'll replace all the hoses. I know I'm forgetting stuff. I've got so much stuff planned for this thing, it's not even funny. But I'm getting rid of this big mess of high cast crap. That's going to be nice. And I went ahead and tore the engine down, and I've already got the heads off. I've got the heads disassembled, and I'm working on them. I'll get to them and get to that in just a minute. But pretty much I got it stripped down to the block, and I'm gonna take the heads to. I've got a guy in Denver that did them the last time, Dave Sarno Racing Heads, and he did a great job. So I'm probably gonna run the heads back up to him. And let's go look at these heads and see what all I've done to them, and we'll go from there. Alright, so you can see taking the heads off and measuring everything's the biggest. I actually enjoy measuring stuff with micrometers and borehole gauges. When I take my heads apart, I like to make a little box, and then I put all the keepers and springs. I keep it all organized by 2, 4, 6 exhaust, intake, and then we got 1, 3, 5 exhaust and intake, so I can keep up with everything. And so what all have I measured so far? Let's see. I did a gas test. Usually use alcohol test on the valves when I first pulled it off, and it wasn't too bad. A couple of cylinders, the number 1 intake, and was dripped gas. I mean, it didn't drip. It took it like 5 minutes to make a drip. Number 6 intake dripped a little bit, but I took a flat straight edge, and then I measured I laid it out across the bottom of the head and made sure that the head wasn't warped or anything. And what else did I measure? So then I measured the valve guide clearance, and I measured the valve lengths, and I measured the valve stem diameter, and I measured the valve spring height, and I checked the springs against a straight edge to make sure that they were square, and I measured the lifter diameter, which actually, oddly enough, when I measured the lifter diameter, I got a reading different than the book, and so that was kind of weird. But I went ahead and went with it. I mean, the numbers are the numbers, right? They don't lie. But then I came back and I measured each of the lifter guides and with a borehole, and then I subtracted the diameter of the lifter from the diameter of the guide, and the numbers I came up with actually did match the book. So even though my lifter diameter didn't match, and actually the guide diameter didn't match either, but the clearance, the lifter clearance actually did come out to all be between like 14 thousandths and 26 thousandths. So, and it all came out to be around 16 thousandths. So that actually worked out good. I've got to make a little stand to measure the camshaft run out. I still got to measure the camshaft height, and then I'm going to measure the camshaft journals. I'm probably not going to measure the journal clearance. I imagine it's good. Maybe I will. Who knows? It's better to measure it and know what you've got. But anyway, that's pretty much where I'm at. So I hope to be done measuring this stuff today. I'm gonna have to order a gasket set from Z1 so I can get the valve stem seals. And once I get the valve stem seals, I'll be taking my heads up to Denver. And in the meantime, I'll be working on some other stuff. I'm actually changing the wiring harness in the twin turbo, and we'll put a one-piece drive shaft in it. I'm gonna change all the fuel lines. I'm probably gonna pull the tank and change the fuel pump. I'll change all the fuel lines on the tank and all the gaskets on the tank. I'm changing the turbos. I'm going to get the same size turbo with the bigger insides. And some of the heat shield bolts broke out, twisted off on the heat shields for around the turbo. I think it's like the downpipe or whatever. And on the headers too. It's all rusty, man. A bunch of rusty crap. You can tell that stuff's never been taken off. So that's good, but now I got to drill out some holes. So that's gonna suck. But man, I'm making progress. I really hope to have that twin turbo running in a couple of months. So we'll see how long it takes. But that's what I've got going. So I'll hopefully have some more updates here soon, and we'll catch you guys later.